Today, we are going to look at the written response questions from the 2018 Grade 4 Released New York State Test Questions. Question 39. Which diagram below appears to show a pair of perpendicular lines? Perpendicular lines are lines that meet at a 90-degree angle. Let's go through each of these choices and see which shows a pair of perpendicular lines. Diagram A. Diagram A shows intersecting lines. The lines meet, but they do not meet at a 90-degree angle. This is an obtuse angle over here, and this one is an acute angle over here. So these are intersecting lines. Diagram B. Diagram B, the lines here meet, and they do form a 90-degree angle. A 90-degree angle forms it looks like a box. So this is a 90-degree angle. So these are perpendicular lines. They are perpendicular lines. In diagram C, the lines never meet. But if they did go on forever, they would actually never touch. So these are called parallel lines. Okay. So the question says explain your answer. So you can't just put a check mark and then leave this part blank. You won't get full credit. So you have to explain your answer by writing your explanation. So you would say diagram B shows a pair of perpendicular lines. And you have to also explain what perpendicular lines are. Perpendicular lines meet at a right angle. Meet or intersect at a right angle. And a right angle is the same as a 90-degree angle. Okay. Let's go on to the next question. Question 40. The workers at Cameron's flower shop are putting 1,323 flowers into vases for a party. Each vase must hold exactly 8 flowers. What is the total number of vases the workers can fill completely? So we know that there's going to be vases, and each vase holds 8 flowers. Okay, so there's going to be one vase, there's going to be another vase, and each vase is going to hold 8 flowers for a total of 1,323 flowers. So in order to solve this question, we have to figure out how many times 8 goes into 1,323. So we have to do 1,323 divided by 8. Okay. So we can either use the algorithm, and I'll show you another strategy after the algorithm. So 1,323 divided by 8. Okay. We can't do 8 into 1. We can do 8 into 13. 8 into 13 goes 1 time. 8 times 1 is 8, so we're going to subtract 8. And 13 minus 8 is 5. We bring down the 2. Okay. 8 goes into 52 6 times. 8 times 6 is 42. We subtract 42. Whoops, I made a mistake here. 8 times 6 is not 42. 8 times 6 is 48. Okay, and 52 minus 48 is 4. We bring down the 3. Okay. 8 goes into 43 5 times, and 8 times 5 is 40. So we have 165, remainder 3. Okay, and it says, what is the total number of vases the worker can fill completely? So how many vases can be filled completely? Well, the 166th vase is only going to have 3 flowers in it. So 165 vases will be filled completely. Okay. Again, so that means there was 165 vases. Those 165 vases will each have 8 flowers in it, and the 166th vase will only have the 3 remaining flowers. The question, though, is asking, what is the total number of vases the workers can fill completely? So 165 will be filled completely. Okay, I want to show you another strategy in case you have not learned the algorithm. So we can do 1,323 divided by 8. In this strategy, what we're going to do is we're going to break it up by place value, and we're going to form 8 groups. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and that's 8 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So let me just actually erase these dots so that they're not confusing. Okay. So this is my thousands place, my hundreds place, my tens place, and my ones place. Okay, when we divide, we start with the biggest place value. So again, I can't break 1 into 8 groups. So this 1, that's 1,000, is the same as 10 hundreds. So this 1 is the same as 10 hundreds, so it can move there. It can move into the hundreds place. So now I have 13. How many equal groups? If I have 13 and I have 8 equal groups, how much can go into each group? 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Okay, I subtract 8, and I have 5 left over. That's 5 hundreds. 5 hundreds is the same as 5 tens. Is the same as 50 tens. Okay, so that is going to be, so 52, if I have 52, and I have 8 groups, how much can go into each group? Well, 6 can go into each group. Do you see a similarity between the algorithm and this way? So 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. 6 times 8 is 48. I subtract 48, and that is going to be 4. Okay, 4 tens is the same as 40 ones, and that goes in. You see the similarity? 5 times 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, minus 40, and that's my remainder of 3. So 165, remainder 3, but how many vases can be filled completely? 165. Okay. So just a reminder, this 1,000 is the same as 10 hundreds. I have 5 hundreds left over, which is the same as 50 tens, and I have 4 tens left over, which is the same as 40 ones. Okay, next question, 41. Samantha walks a total of 2/3 mile to get to and from school each day. Write an expression that can be used to find the total number of miles that Samantha walks to and from school over 5 days. Then evaluate the expression. Okay, an expression does not have an equal sign. An equation does have an equal sign. Okay, so it says expression and then show your work. So over here, I'm going to write my expression, and where it says show my work, that's where I will evaluate the expression. So she walks a total of 2/3 miles to get to and from school each day. So let's do a little picture here. So let's say this is her home. And this is her school. Okay. She walks a total of 2/3 miles. So back and forth is a total of 2/3 of a mile. Okay. And we want to know the total number of miles that she walks to and from school over 5 days. Okay? So the expression is going to be 2/3. Right, that's what she walks each day, times 5. So we want to know the total that she walks over 5 days. So it would be 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, or just 2/3 times 5. Remember, repeated addition is the same as multiplication. Now, remember, an expression does not have an equal sign. So now where it says show your work, now I'll actually solve it. So 2/3 times 5. Okay. When we multiply a whole number by a fraction, we only multiply the numerators. So 2 times 5 is 10. And then 10, we don't multiply the denominator, so 10/3. So 10/3 mile is how far she walks in 5 days. We can show this another way as well. We can do it as 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3 plus 2/3, which equals 10/3. Okay? So the answer is 10/3 miles walked. And we can leave the answer as an improper fraction. It does not say to convert it to a mixed number. We could, but we don't have to. If we want to convert it to a mixed number, we can say or. So 3 goes into 10 3 times. There's 1 left over. So 10/3 or 3 1/3 miles, right? Because 3 goes into 10 3 times. We have a remainder of 1, so 3 1/3. Okay, question 42. Cindy recycled 54 pounds of paper. She recycled 9 times as many pounds of paper as Monica. Okay, I'm going to keep track of all this, I'm going to start taking some notes here. So Cindy, I'm going to write a C for Cindy. Cindy recycled 54 pounds of paper. She recycled 9 times as many pounds of paper as Monica. Okay, so we have to think to ourselves, who recycled more paper? Did Cindy recycle more paper, or did Monica recycle more paper? Cindy recycled more paper. It says she recycled 9 times as many pounds of paper as Monica. So to figure out Monica, what we have to do is we have to do 54 divided by 9. That will get us what Monica recycled. Okay? So if we want to do that, 54 divided by 9 is going to be 6. Why? Because 9 times 6 equals 54. Okay, write an equation that can be used to find M, the number of pounds of paper Monica recycled. Then solve the equation to find the number of pounds of paper Monica recycled. Well, we actually already did that, but it's saying to write an equation. Remember, an equation has an equal sign, an expression does not have an equal sign. So we can say, and we have to use M. This is the variable. So we can say 54 divided by 9 equals m. And then it says, so we did that. Then it says solve the equation. So now we have to solve it. 54 divided by 9 equals 6. 6 what? Make sure we write our units. 6 pounds of paper. And they actually want us to put our answer on this line, so m equals 6 pounds of paper. Okay, question 43. Of the animals at a pet show, 3/8 were cats and 4/8 were dogs. The rest of the animals were rabbits. What fraction of the animals at the pet show were rabbits? Show your work. So we know that 3/8 were cats. We know that 4/8 were dogs. And we know that the rest were rabbits. I'm going to put R for rabbits. Now, those are the only animals that were there. Cats, dogs, and rabbits. So the total of this has to equal 1 whole. Well, so we can add this up. So we know that 3/8, which are the cats, plus 4/8, which are the dogs, plus the rabbits has to equal 1 whole, because those are the only animals that were at the pet show. So 3/8 plus 4/8 is 7/8. 7/8 plus the rabbits has to equal 1. So 7/8 plus R equals 1. 7/8 plus what equals 1? So R has to equal 1/8. Why? Because 7/8 plus 1/8 equals 1 whole. Right? Let's show that. 7/8 plus 1/8 equals 8/8, which equals 1 whole. So what fraction of the animals at the pet show were rabbits? 1/8 were rabbits. So we put down 1/8. Question 44. Right triangle ABC is shown below. Okay, we have the triangle A, B, C, and they say it's a right triangle. That means it has a right angle. The right angle is going to be right over here. Write an equation that can be used to determine the angle measure in degrees of angle DBC. So angle DBC, let me change the color. Angle DBC is this angle right over here. They show it as N over here. Then determine the measure of N. Okay, so we have to write an equation. Remember, an equation has an equal sign. So we know that the whole entire degree here is 90 degrees. How do we know that? Because they say it is a right angle. How do we know it's a right angle? Because we know that it is a right triangle. Okay, and this obviously is an acute angle, and this is an acute angle, so this one has to be the right angle. So we know that the total has to be 90 degrees. So we can do 67 degrees plus n degrees has to equal 90 degrees. So how do we figure out what the missing angle is? We can subtract 90 degrees minus 67 degrees. We can't do 0 minus 7, so we regroup from the 8, or we borrow from the 8. And we make the 0 into a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 8 minus 6 is 2, so 23 degrees. So angle N is 23 degrees. N equals 23 degrees. Okay, question 45. A teacher buys 8 packs of orange erasers and 6 packs of blue erasers for his classroom. There are 24 orange erasers in a pack and 28 blue erasers in a pack. What is the total number of erasers the teacher buys for his classroom? Okay, so he buys 8 packs of orange erasers, and in each of those packs of orange erasers, there are 24 orange erasers. So to figure out the total, we have to do the 8 packs of orange erasers times 24 orange erasers in each pack. So that would be 8 times 24. Okay, and he also buys blue erasers. He buys 6 packs of blue erasers, and in each of those packs there are 28 blue erasers. So we have to add the 6 packs of blue erasers times the 28 erasers in each of the blue packs to get the total. So this over here, 8 times 24 represents the orange erasers, and the 6 times 28 represents the blue erasers. And now we can solve. Okay, so we have to do 24 times 8 and 6 times 28. Okay, we'll do this with the algorithm, and then I'll show you an alternative method. So 24 times 8, 8 times 4 is 32, 8 times 2 is 16, plus the 3 is 19, so 192 blue erasers. 28 times 6, 8 times 6 is 48, 6 times 2 is 12, plus 4 is 16, 168 blue erasers. This is 192 orange erasers, 168 blue erasers. I added up 192 plus 168. 8 plus 2 is 10, carry the 1. 1 plus 9 is 10, plus 6 is 16. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. 360 total erasers. Okay, I'll show you now an alternative method if you haven't learned the algorithm. You can use an area model. So for 24 times 8, we can use an area model. Here's 20 plus 4. We break it up by place value times 8. So we're going to do for this box, 8 times 20, 8 times 20 is 160. 8 times 4 is 32. Add 160 plus 32, and we get 192 orange erasers. Now I have to figure out the blue erasers. 20 plus 8. We're going to multiply that by 6. 6 times 20 is 120. 8 times 6 is 48. 120 plus 48 equals 168. Now we're going to add those together, and that's the blue erasers. Now we add up the orange erasers. 192 orange erasers plus 168 blue erasers. 8 plus 2 is 10. 1 plus 9 is 10. Plus 6 is 16. 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. 360 total erasers. We get the same answer whether we use the algorithm or the area model. So 360 erasers. Hey, if you liked the video and it was helpful, please subscribe to my channel.